The Penguin just keeps getting better and better, no matter what. I just continue to sit down, watch the show, and be utterly stunned that we're getting quote-unquote comic book television at this level. Like, this is HBO prestige TV level, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Let's get into it. What's up, my know-it-alls? The Penguin, episode 6. Oh, next week's the penultimate episode, and I can't wait! Mainly because this feels so big. By that, I mean they're doing such good work. I love the fact that it's winter. I say that I love the fact it's winter because I can feel us creeping toward what people have been saying the Batman 2 is going to be. The Batman 2, there's been all kinds of talks and discussions and spoilers and things that go out and leaks and whatnot. And it all says that it's going to take place during the winter. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, don't quote me on that part. But that's what the word on the street is. So when I see winter in Gotham with snow and the whole 9 yards and people freezing cold, all I can think of is, wow, this is amazing. This episode picks up right at the heels of the next. Well, that's a lie. It picks up, I think there's a slight time jump because we go from this rundown, beat up, pseudo Penguin's lair at the end of last week's episode, and we jump into full-blown working underground, not only hideout, but underground place that they're moving product from. There's all these tunnels underneath the city that take them to various places, multiple boroughs, according to Penguin's voiceover. And so they're sitting here doing business, and the more business they do, the more people they pull in who want to get in. So they've essentially taken over the entire drops / whatever route, but replaced it with this new thing. All the while, Sophia and Salvatore are messing around. They're still at the former Falcone compound, now Gigante compound. It's funny. He's like walking around, cooking and putzing, and it has very Goodfellas vibes when it comes to a lot of this stuff. The stuff underground still feels totally like Tim Burton style, especially now that Colin Farrell's the Penguin, Oz, is wearing a fur coat. And I'm like, doesn't that remind me of the coat that he wears too? You know what I mean? But anyway, it's everyone's running routes, everyone's doing stuff. Vic's very involved. Vic has an encounter with his old running mate, the guy he used to run the streets with, or at least run the streets for. The guy that he tried to boost Oz's rims for. And this guy's been seeing him. And he says to him, hey man, you're back here, this and that. Come on, you know this is my area, this blah, blah, blah. Let me talk to your boss. Let me in. And he was like, all right, I'll see what's up. And so he goes, Oz is dealing with a lot. And then power goes out. Oz can't fix the generator, so he's really upset. Oz's mom's having a hard time still, even more so. And Oz catches Vic talking to her in her delusion, in her dementia. I don't want to say delusion, that's rude. But in her, where her head's at.
Jack went to pay the bill downtown.
What are you doing?
Jack's downtown.
That's all.
This whole time.
So he's gonna get it
Jack's
figured out.
downtown.
Stop it, you're making it worse.
And the entire time, kid's like, I don't know what else you want me, like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, just whatever. And so then Oz says to him, what's this thing you got going? What's this problem you got? And he goes, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'm gonna handle it. Don't worry. He goes and does it. He goes and takes care of it. Vic goes back and he talks to the guy and he says,
Look, man, I tried. Okay, they're not looking for more guys right now. I know this is your neighborhood. They know that. Respect you. So, yeah.
He tries to pay him off. So dude tries to talk to him like he's small. The whole time I'm sitting going, oh, Vic, do this, do it, man, do it, just do it. Vic does it.
We're underground.
Underground? Shit, you digging holes or something?
I'm like, oh, okay. And then Vic collapses because he has to watch dude bleed out. It's hardcore for Vic. And Vic's head, he's like, that was a hill. He goes back. He talks to Oz. Oz looks at him. He sees he's kind of shaking. He's like, you okay? He's like, and he kind of just knows. And Oz goes, that thing you had a problem with, you took care of it? He goes, he sees that his face is messed up. And he goes, did someone follow you? Were you seen? Did you get away clean? He's like, yeah.
You're strong, kid.
Dude, he pulls him in for a hug, and then he says the most chilling thing I have ever heard, and I even had to pause it and stop, and I stood up, and I'm like, oh my God, did he just do that?
It gets easier.
It gets easier. Yeah, it gets easier. It gets easier to end people. It gets easier to this and that. I'm like... So all the while, Sophia and Oz, they head back to Oz's old place, which I never caught this. Maybe that was on the screen. I got to go back and look. When they go into Oz's old place to track him down, try to see if they can find anything on him, there's a sign. Burgess Jewelers. That's an Easter egg to the original, one of the original people who played the Penguin, Burgess Meredith, from the old Adam West Batman TV show. I thought that was the coolest reference. I was like, okay, and I even paused it and pointed it out to Mrs. Know-It-All. I was like, that's an homage. I don't care where you are. That's an homage, because Burgess is the weirdest name in the world for someone to just randomly pick out of a hat, especially, coincidentally, having to do with Penguin. Am I right? They go into his place, and one of the things Sophia, they're walking around, they're looking for stuff, and they can't find anything, and at one point, Salvage picks up the picture of Oz's brother and his mother. And he says, who's this?
Who are they?
His brothers. They died young. His mother is dead too.
He takes everything from me, and he's got nothing.
And then she says it's his only actual character, like his only advantage. The only asset he has is that he's got nobody. He's got nothing. Then Sophia finds the photograph of Oz's girl. Oh yeah. And she remembers and pays her a visit. That encounter was one of the most interesting encounters I think I've ever seen. It was a really powerful woman who had to fight her way up, talking to who is arguably not powerful, she's a madam, and she runs her own little area. And she purposely brought Sophia up, and she says, listen, if you're going to do this, I just want you to protect, I want my girls, leave my girls alone. I don't want you messing with my girls. And something because they talk. And she tells her flat out, she's like, he cares about you, you have your own drawer in his place, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, no, it's, what we had was different for sure. She's like, but it's like, do you want me to tell you where he is? Like, I know where he is. And then she's like, look, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And she even tells her, she's like, she thought Sophia's the hangman. She was trying to protect her girls because of all the people the hangman ended back in the day. Sophia tells her flat out, it wasn't me. It was my father. He's a dirtbag. That's why I ended up in Arkham. Proceeds to then tell her, did you know Oz killed my brother? And she says, I not at first. She says, you were his alibi. He says, not at first. I didn't know at first. I knew after. And she's like, he's dirty. He's this, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. As she's about to leave, because Sophia spares her life, Chicky gets up and says to her, Crown Point, blah, blah, blah. She tells her, you deserve your shot. And I was like, oh my God, this is what you guys do the teaming up about. This? Oh. And so she's gone. And that's the end of that moment. We then follow Oz. Oz is getting serious. He's getting upset. He's getting frustrated, but he's getting real. He goes and visits a politician, and he threatens the guy and says, you better put the power back on Crown Point, period. He's like, I don't work for anybody. I'm my own person. Ooh, it's serious. It's so serious. While that's all going down, Oz puts together with the title of the episode. He puts together a gold summit. And he calls all these warring people together. And he's like, you think I came here like just to what? And they're all ready. They got guns, everyone's the triads, this other, all these groups, these gangs who all are own parts of Gotham. And he shows up with an ice chest full of beer. No weapons, no drugs, no money, nothing. Why? Because the night before, the triads pulled out. Because the former Falcone Gigante, whatever, they sent a message. Anybody who helps Oz is gonna have issues. We're gonna have trouble. So what happens? Oz flooded all of their territories with his product for free. Everyone got a taste. The idea was demand, because now everybody's going to their dealers who are these people asking for it. So they got no choice. They have to turn to it. It's a brilliant move. And they're like, and literally one with the triad guys like, this guy's, well, he has no code. He's this and that.
He betrays everyone he works with. Sophia Gigante, Alberto Falcone. There's no code, no class. The Penguin is a bargain basement hustler.
Oz goes on this really big, super hype, like political rant. And Oz is like, what do you, like, these people who you work for or worked for or have worked with or whatever, they don't even know your names. None of them. He talks about politicians. He goes, these guys are meeting in a boardroom. Every one of them hates each other as much as you guys do, but they all know they're stronger together. He's like, that's got to be us. And little by little, and he has his man pass out the beers and this and that. And as they all start agreeing, finding the triad guy, and he's like, all right. And at one point, Colin Farrell, as everyone, the last one, the holdout triad opens his beer, he goes to drink his, he's like, it's this smirk that I stopped and I looked at Mrs. Know-It-All and I said, that's acting. That's acting. That's a choice. Okay? That's a choice. And I love that kind of nuance. It's not just about reciting the lines or being the character. It's about finding those little nuances that make you go, wow, this is a living, breathing character. And it's such a, I'm telling you, man, it's so good. It's so good. The acting's good. I hope this doesn't get snubbed by Emmys back in the future because it's based on a comic book or based on comic material or whatever. It needs to get respect because this is an amazing, amazing series that absolutely is worth everything. Then we get to the very end of the episode. Vic is going to check on Oz's mom. And as he's there, power comes on. And like shockingly fast, power comes on. And remember the last thing the record was on. The record comes on. She freaks out. She's like, no, leave the music, leave the record on. He goes, Oz did this. He did this for you. And she's like, my Oz did this? And she's like, yes. And they're dancing and having a good old time. And you hear the door open. And I'm assuming that they must have heard it too, but they probably just assumed it was Oz. So they're dancing on the hallway. It's your girl holding one of the most notorious weapons in all of Batman history. She's holding a crowbar. So whatever's about to go down, she's looking to get dirty. She's looking to get dirty up to her elbows. Like she is not, there's no gun. She went to go see Madam Chickie with a gun. Nah, she goes here. And right as she's standing in the doorway, Oz's mom is like, that's my baby boy. That's my son. And I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Oh, so there you go. Now you know. And if knowing sense the battle, you're halfway, but you know it all yourself. What is the neural index for The Penguin? Episode 6, Gold Summit. Man, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get much better, man. It does not get much better than this. It doesn't get much better, but I feel like next week might be. So I'm giving this a 9.
Live boy. Oswald.
Comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think this episode's worth a 9? Are you here? Are you in? Because I'm telling you right now, it has been blowing my mind how amazing this show is. If anything DCU does moving forward can be even remotely this intense, I don't need it to be this dark and gritty, but just this intense and this legit, let's go. I'm down. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Let's talk more. Do me a favor, comment below. Let me know all the things that you guys are thinking about. And of course, Visit me on all the different social medias. I cannot wait to talk more about this. Oh, all that, bro. I can't believe it. We'll talk again real soon. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.